Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Horror Globe. Um, this time I'm going to be reviewing a series favorite of mine since I was a wee child when I watched back in the late 80s, early 90s and all the reruns, and I just couldn't get enough of it. And I was absolutely in love with the female lead in there, Louise Robey. I think now you know what I'm talking about, folks. She played Mickey Foster. I'm going to review as best I can the entire complete series of Friday the 13th, the series. Not to be confused with Friday the 13th, the movies, the films. I'm not reviewing the overall, all whatever 9 or 10 films that they have. This is, if you look very closely, it's the series. And if you see this skull here, you probably won't come up on camera here, but what it is, it's a compilation. It's compiled of all these cursed antiques that form the skull. And this is season 1 here. Here, this will tell you right in the back. See, the redhead here is Mickey Foster, Ryan Dalian, and Jack Marshak, played by Chris Wiggins. It's a series now, and basically the whole thing is there's a character named Louis Vondredi, played by R.G. Armstrong, who made a pact with the devil. And what it is, the devil would curse all these antique objects, dolls, well, whatever, you name it, necklaces, rings, um, what is it, one of those like those antique um, mirror keep case things, what the ladies use for put on the makeup, fits, for the purse, things of that nature. What else can I come up from all this? Dolls. So I recognize all these things well. Anyways, recognize. Well, anyways, I recently, maybe about less than 6 months ago, less than 5 months ago, I hit the whole series, the whole everything, all the episodes, pretty much almost watching them back to back, like almost every day, until I got done. Rented them from the library, and of course, I ordered this instantly, when it came down in price. And anyways, which when it went down in price, I got it when it went down to like 51 bucks. I checked like a few days later and it went down to 37. That pissed me off. But anyways, for the complete series. Oh shit. I hope it's still that price. I don't know if you have any interest, any of you folks out there, or Aaron Pin, particularly. Yeah, makes a fine addition to that Crystal Lake Memories, which I have, by the way. I got it in the mail, but I'm not going to unbox it until I get more stuff in, and I'm going to unbox it along with my next update. But anyways, getting back to this. So R.G. Armstrong made a deal with the devil to curse all these antique objects. Okay, and that's basically the intro of it. And they pretty much show that intro at the beginning of it, of every episode. So then comes Ryan Dalian, who inherits this because he went missing. Apparently, the devil took his soul because he broke the pact. Ryan Dalian inherits then the Louis, what is it? I forgot the original name of the store, Vondredi's Antiques, something like that, which later on they renamed it to Curious Goods. So he's exploring his newfound acquisition. Then he runs into Mickey, who happens to, because they're cousins, they haven't seen each other since childhood. They bump into each other in there. I forget who the scare. I think Ryan actually scared Mickey and said, "Hey, I'm your cousin. Remember me?" And okay, they kind of recall each other. And they say, "Okay, we inherit this place. So what are we going to do with it?" They're thinking maybe they want to. Well, Mickey has other thoughts. She wants to maybe just fix it up and then sell it, get the money, and then go back to, I think, in England, where she's going to get married to her fiance. Whereas Ryan wants to actually keep this place and maybe bank off it, keep the store. Later along the line, Jack Marshak comes into the picture, and they mistaken him for like a burglar. And later on, then he tells them that, I'm not a burglar. I was a good friend of your uncle, Louise Robey, and I used to bring these strange artifacts to him, antiques. And then this is like the first episode, mind you, the setup for it. And one of them finds a secret compartment where on the ceiling, and it they hit some kind of lever or something, and just this book drops, and a trap door opens up, and this book drops, and it's basically the manifest of all of the cursed antiques that are out there. And this first episode, it basically deals with this doll that it's like the evil doll where it whispers all these evil things to you. And when you like kind of give it a shake, whatever's around you, it will kill you in some fashion. And this doll was sold to this little girl that they accidentally sold, not knowing beforehand when all these things were antiques, cursed antiques. So now they feel like this obligation after they save the day, of course, and get the doll back. They feel like they have this obligation now, to recover all these cursed antiques and to lock them away in the vault down below. Speaking of down below, I just want to bring up that whenever I give shout-outs and stuff like that, you will usually almost always find the links. And if I refer to a certain video, check the links in the script below. That's, like I said, I'll usually almost always have the link below to a person's channel or their video at the very least, and please check it out and sub to these guys, okay? Well, anyways, okay, so store it down below in the vault. The first season was a great season. It had classic episodes like Drain Brain and stuff like that. One where it's sort of like these chairs back to back, and one would sit on one side, the other would sit on the other, and this weird apparatus in between them, and this sort of like this wood with a syringe at the end of it on each side would swing down from the back and hit you in the back of your neck, and hit the other guy in the back of the neck as well, and exchange brains fluids, basically making the other guy become retarded, and the other one gaining the intelligence or whatever intelligence level you're draining it from. Other episodes are they're all starting to bleed together, but I believe there was one with a coin. That might have been the second season, but one with a coin where you flip it. It's with a ram's head, and it basically takes a life and can restore life, no matter how old, as long as they have some physical corpse present. Well, let me just go ahead and crack this open, and this might give me. Okay, there's a poison pen. Okay, there's Shadow Boxer. There's one with these boxing gloves where it basically makes you win fights after you cast your shadow, and then the shadow will go out there and kill someone. And while it's killing someone and you do your fight, you're in the fight, it will make you win the fight because the shadow took a life. And that's usually the case with these artifacts, these cursed antiques. There's usually always like a positive and a negative, sort of take a life and gain a life type of thing involved to it. Not always taking a life, but either taking a life or disfiguring a person or doing something negative with the positive to follow. It's usually always the case, not all the time. Bottles in a Dream. The Electrocutioner. Okay, I remember that one. He was like a dentist, and he has this. He's really obsessed with clean teeth and making sure his patients have clean teeth. When their patient would sit in the chair, he would basically electrocute them and evaporate them somehow, and they'll just no trace of the body. And then he would sit in that chair, and it would imbue him basically with this power of electricity, where he can just just basically shoot you with the electricity, and or maybe touch like water, and if you're standing in a puddle, and shock you and kill you that way, or if you're holding onto a rail and touch the rail and just basically deliver a surge of electricity to you and shock you to death. Things like that. The Cupid's arrow makes any woman fall in love with you. There's one with the mirror where you can cast a when the light that's reflected off that mirror hits you. It's one of those like I said, it's that special mirror that women use for I can't remember. It's like a compact mirror. With the women put the makeup on. When they use that and they hit the lights into your face, it would cause you to become madly in love with you, and you have to kill them. For some reason, there's something where it compels you, the user, to have to kill the person. So great stuff. Season 1 was excellent. Now we move on to Season 2, where things also get a little interesting. I believe Season 1, too, there was a fantastic Halloween episode in there, so I might hit that. I won't necessarily do a review, that's what this is for, on it, but it's a fantastic Halloween episode. A lot of the times, too, Louise Robey will appear back in these episodes in ghost form, trying to get back to the land of the living, basically, is what, you know. So that was a really nice story arc in the first one, and the second one, I think they kind of abandoned that whole thing. I mean, he might have come back for a couple episodes, or at least was mentioned, but yeah, I think that was like the whole main thing of that one. This one here, for Season 2, you had some stuff like, you know, basically picks up with, you know, same general stuff with the first one, but there's more camaraderie, not camaraderie, well, I mean, yeah, there's camaraderie, of course, but there's more, you're kind of very familiar with these characters now and know what to expect, and they're familiar with each other, you know, basically. There's more of a kinship involved now. And the stories get a little bit more complex, and the type of the antiques that they use here is a little bit more complex. You know what? I don't think, remember how I said that it's a compilation, you know, the skull is compiled of a bunch of cursed antiques, but I don't really recall seeing any of these things in the show. This might just be, because this is newly made artwork, I believe. Okay, there's one, I think. There's one where there's a dollhouse, a novelty-sized dollhouse for your backyard. And what that would do was, these kids, you know, had it in their possession. They would have to bring other kids in there, and it basically sucks their soul into the house, and then it transports them. It's almost like a what is it? There's a word for it. A warp, a reality warper, or something like that. Mind warper, or I think it's they're called reality warpers, like what Freddy is. He's and people like Pinhead from the Hellraiser series. This is like you know, there's like it's this house is like a reality warping thing where it transports you into like a real life-size dollhouse. Even though on the outside it's just, you know, not that big, but inside, after you bring in a kid and it sucks you in there, it brings you into this you know, this dollhouse, you know, life-size dollhouse, where, you know, the kids were free to run around the whole place, and anything you imagine, all the toys and everything, would be there. So that was a pretty decent one. And there was another one that was like Medusa Shard, where this was more of like a two-parter type thing, two kind of story arcs. It's not a two-part episode, but like a double story arc thing going on. And there's some episodes where they kind of get into that with this. Sometimes they would reclaim an artifact or an antique, cursed antique, and then it would get lost again, only to reappear in maybe, like in the first one, in the first season, like the compact, that was never reclaimed, and it appeared in the second season. There are, you know, stuff like that, or sometimes they would lose it and then regain it at the end. Some of the actors and actresses would reprise their roles, or even guest star again as different roles. They would reuse their special guests and kind of change them up a bit. And I thought that was kind of funny and interesting at the same time. And it's, I guess, one of the charms of it that I enjoyed. It didn't really bother me. Trying to think what else episodes. I think this is the episode actually that had the coin in it, because that is to be, you know, to appear later on in the third season. So I really enjoyed it. Okay, yeah, there's an episode here. There's a new character that gets introduced here. You see him for the first time in this season. His name is Johnny. I'm not sure what his last name was, but Johnny. Played by Stephen Monarch, which I believe when I read you know, the back of you know, who some of the people that they were interviewing in that Crystal Lake Memories, and he was one of them. But in any case, yeah, he gets introduced in here. He was introduced in the there's you know, one of those pool sticks you know, you stab someone, you run someone through with it and kill them, and then it starts making you win games. And you can see how that could be a benefit because, you know, you make bets and everything. You can make a small fortune, I suppose. Of course, after a certain amount of time, it runs out and you have to kill again. There's some twists in certain episodes, which I really, really liked. And some I probably wouldn't have seen coming if I wasn't so familiar with the show already. There's one where with that was the first episode that he got introduced to, Stephen, or not Stephen Monarch's character, Johnny. And the other one that I recall him in was this jacket that this leather jacket that can make you not. I don't think it was either a leather jacket. Or, you know, it was some war bomber, a bomber's like a Japanese war bomber jacket. You get blood on it, it makes you go invisible. He was in that, and it was a pretty good episode as well. I think this one also featured these three hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil monkey statues with that had like a Japanese flavor to it, and I thought that was pretty neat. Episodes where they even have to go out of the country and you know, travel around. And I don't know if they actually went to these places. This is a Canadian production, mind you. So I know Aaron and his son Matt, and I'm not too sure if his daughter Cassandra was in it, but they talked about you know, this series as well, and it's a Canadian production, and he felt proud, of course, you know, being a Canadian thing too. So I did not know that until he mentioned it, and I looked into it and went, oh, okay, that's cool. So it's Canadian production and fantastic. I don't know if they actually went to these places though, that they go to in the show, but it looks somewhat authentic, I guess. This ended. This season ended with. Is there a type of cliffhanger in there? And no, you know what? I think the last episode, if I could just crack this open as well. Well, here, some of the episodes. The Voodoo Mamba, 13 O'Clock, Tales I Live, Heads You Die, and now the news. Or that's the one where this news anchorman, he's able to take a photo of himself and basically, I forgot what the benefit of it was. And when he would develop the film, a copy of himself would come out and would do a killing for him, and then some beneficial thing would happen. I can't remember exactly what, but Coven of Darkness. A witch of Coven schemes to find a powerful necklace and recruit an unwilling Ryan to help them by casting a spell on him. That was a fantastic one. Yeah. There's the witch thing where yeah, it ended with a really powerful episode where, if I recall, they're trying to resurrect this all-powerful witch, and the gang has this necklace that they need to reclaim in order to. It was required in order to bring her back. And Jack Marshak enlists the help of some other mystic, and he has some mystical powers and stuff like that. And it's kind of cool. It's a nice little confrontation with him and one of the witches. Good episode, and something I want to refer back to the first season again. I believe it was the first season. It dealt with Jack the Ripper's knife. It was a surgical scalpel, not scalp, scalpel, and a surgical scalpel. And it was a really cool episode. This blade, after it kills, it gives you the ability to perform any kind of surgery with 100% success, no fail. But you, of course, have to take a life, and you know, you can see how this surgeon got his fame off that. And what's really cool about this scalp, it can cut through metal, steel, anything. And all these antique objects are indestructible, mind you. So let's finally get on to the final season here. This is the one where I don't know what happened, but they no longer wanted the character of Ryan Dallion. He was written out of the script, and they brought in, you know, reintroduced, I guess, and made as a permanent on the show, Stephen Monarch as Johnny. Yeah, I'm not recognizing any of these. Oh, this television set. Okay, there's one where this medium, who's she holds a seance and stuff like that, a psychic. She's able to communicate with the dead using this antique TV, but really, what it does is I think she's extending her life, because normally she would have been dead a long time ago. Every time she would do this, the spirit would come back to that person that who was trying to contact a soul, and it would end up killing you on your own television set or wherever you were, whatever TV it was nearest to you, and find some way of killing you, thus would extend the life of this mystic. Excuse me. That coin with the ram's head that takes a life and gives a life makes a return, this time with Johnny in that episode. And this had a very powerful ending too. I wish this show never ended. The charnel pit. Mickey finds herself at the mercy of one of the most devious masterminds of all time, the Marquis de Sade. And it's up to Jack and Johnny to retrieve her before she becomes victim of the cruelty. This one, there's a painting, I guess it was that famous painter, where he would paint something positive, life, you know, on one side, and like a death-like painting on the other side. And it was a Christ antique. What would happen is, on one side, on present day would be the good side, yeah, and on the past, going back to like 18th century even, or 19th century, I think it might have been 18th century, like mid-late 18th century, you go through it, through the painting, and you go back to, you know, 18th century France, where if you were to try to go back on the death side of the painting, you will come out dead. And the whole benefit of what this guy was doing was he would send whores, basically, to that side, and a Marquis, because he's known for his sadism, and he likes whipping women to death, and just a sick guy, would send back another whore through that with documents and rare things, you know, to, you know, make this guy more famous, you know, bring her to the other side, and the whore would be dead on the other side, and he would dump her, you know, in the river or something. So a good episode, and very, very good finale. Still wish it just never ended. Well, this is the one that had the see no evil, speak no evil, and hear no evil. I'm sorry, it wasn't the second season. This was a Johnny episode. Okay. There's another one with. This might have been a. This might have been a Ryan one. It was a Ryan one, where, you know, he would enter the snow globe, and when they figured out that they were in the snow globe, they tried to get themselves out, where everyone from their past would revisit them, but little do they know they were dead. The way Ryan was written out of the script was very, very ingenious, though. It was like not the first episode, it was either like the second or third episode, and it was a two-parter. Demon Hunter. Okay, it was the first episode, the Prophecies, part 1 and 2, where there's whatever was basically written in this book, it would come to pass, and basically Ryan was written out that way, where he wasn't, I'll just say this, he wasn't necessarily killed, but they found this really ingenious way of taking him out of the show, but he's not quite dead. Let's just say he has his whole life to live again. Wish I had my whole life to live again, right? Okay, but anyways. So there we go. There's my quick review of the whole entire Friday the 13th in the series. Some say they didn't really like the final season as much. They didn't really like the character of Johnny as much. They, you know, shouldn't have gotten rid of Ryan, and I kind of agree with that. In fact, I really, really liked Ryan's character, but Johnny was okay too. I thought he was pretty cool. He seemed a little bit more tougher than me, a little bit, he had more attitude, I guess, because he was had a temper and everything. One episode with the Johnny one was Hate on Your Dial, where there's one gentleman, he's a racist, I guess, doesn't like you know, anyone outside his race, which was Caucasian. So he acquired this radio where he could put blood in it and go back in time to the 50s, where, you know, the KKK and all that stuff, and then what's cool about that, though, when he would go back in time to those days, it would become a black and, you know, it switched to black and white. The show turned black and white, and then in present day, it's back in color again. So that was kind of neat. That's on the final season, third season. I enjoyed this entire freaking series. Okay, all three of them. And if I could be quite honest with you folks, I would have to give the entire series of Friday the 13th, the series, not the movies now, a perfect score of 5 out of 5. Yeah, I enjoy this show so much, and I do highly recommend you pick this up. If you get them on sale, I don't know if they're still on sale for $37.99. If they are, I highly encourage you to pick them up. Perfect for Halloween, perfect for any season, Christmas, any day, every day. I'm trying to recall if there was any Christmas episodes, and there might have been. I just can't remember it. But anyways, thank you folks for watching. Please subscribe to the Globe and everyone associated with the Globe, involved with the Globe. I'm Falagar517. And in the words of a dear friend here on YouTube, because seriously, my throat is starting to go. You know, talking so goddamn much. So it is seriously, it's time for tea. Seriously.